This is part 2 of my Experience Cloud build using Claude Code. In my original video, I used Claude Code to build a homepage for a fictional company called Bank of Frank. Since that video, I've had Claude Code build a lot more, and I wanted to share it. So everything you're about to see, all of the pages, the tests, and even the demo documents, were all built by Claude Code. So in my original video, I had this hero banner. I didn't have this welcome back component. And then I also had this section here. So let's start from the beginning. I'll log out. So from the portal login screen, I'm going to log in as Casey customer. So first thing on the homepage, it greets me with welcome back Casey. And this component shows my checking and savings accounts along with my latest loan application. If we scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, you'll see that we have this loan estimator. So before applying for a loan, a bank customer can use this to estimate their payments. So I can do auto, change the loan amount to $30,000, and then I'll adjust the term to 7 years. So if we scroll back up, one last thing about this welcome back component, these subcomponents are actually clickable. And if you click on one, it'll navigate to the correct tab. So rather than clicking on my accounts, users can just select that checking account from that component. So now that we're on my accounts, let's review this page. So our fictional customer Casey has a checkings and a savings account. Both of these accounts would represent real banking data. You can see that each account number is masked, only showing the last 4. We have this component where you can move money between accounts. I'll go over that later. If we scroll down a little bit, you can see this recent activity section. This component is currently showing the checking account, but if I click on savings, you'll see that the recent activity changes. To keep the recent activity section compact, it only shows up to 8 rows, and then you can click on this show all, and it'll show all the rows. Below the recent activity component, we have this where your money goes component. This section is a spending insights panel. It provides a category breakdown of your spending right here. It also shows you your monthly cash flow, so money in versus money out. Additionally, below it has the top merchants, so where did you spend the most money? There's a time range filter up here, last 3, 6, and 12 months. And then if you don't like the charts, you can always just switch it to a table. So if I switch this to 3 months, you'll see how it changes. So if we scroll back up, there's this move money section. This provides customers the ability to move money themselves. So we can select the from account, so checkings, and I want to move $500. And then the to account, I'll click savings. And then you have this optional memo here. Frank test. And you'll see in real time it moved $500 to my savings. It also gives you this confirmation down here, and it gives you the reference to the transfer itself. So if we scroll down to recent activity, you'll see that $500 that moved and the categories transfer. And then just to double check, if we click on savings, you'll see the same thing here, transfer of $500. All right, so now that we've gone over the My Accounts tab, let's open a new account. So this is the feature I'm most excited to share. This provides customers a fully digital account opening experience. But not only that, this feature also has Know Your Customer document verification, all done by AI. So you can see that it lists 5 products here: Frank Free Checking, Everyday Plus Checking, Classic Savings, High Yield Savings, Money Market. I'm going to do the Frank Free Checking. Click Continue. We next need to choose a home branch, Midtown Atlanta. Next, we'll choose an account to fund it from. I'll use that $500 I just transferred to the savings. And then the last screen here is just a summary of what we selected. So I'll click Agree, open my account. So the new account has been created in Salesforce, but it's in a pending state. So jumping into Salesforce, this is that financial account that we just opened, and you see the status is pending. Before the account activates, the bank needs to know their customer. So there's this verify your identity. We need to upload a government issued ID and proof of address. So I'll click on upload files. So for Casey's proof of address, we have this utility bill here. So I'll upload that and then click done. So it takes about 15 to 20 seconds for this to flip. Right now the AI is processing. So the document is fed to an AI categorizer that I built with Agentforce prompt templates. You can see that the document was recognized as a utility bill with 95% confidence. I'm going to next upload the government issued ID. So I'll click on Casey's driver's license and then click open, click done. Again, this will take 15 to 20 seconds to change. And then once the AI verifies that both the required documents were received, you get this success message here. Your Frank Free Checking is open. It gives you the account number and it says it's active and ready. Before I click on anything, if we jump back to Salesforce and we refresh that financial account record, you'll see that this financial account status is now active. And if you see in the top right here, if we click on this bell icon, it also notifies the customer that their new account was open. So from here, I'm going to click on See My Accounts. And before we just had a checking and savings account, now we have 2 checking accounts. So fortunately for us, the 2 documents that I uploaded for Casey had a high enough confidence level for the AI to be able to verify and categorize both of them correctly. If the AI isn't confident enough in either of those documents wouldn't just fail silently. They would be routed for human review. And then once the reviewer can confirm the documents, the same automation that just activated the account would take place. So there's still a human in the loop for this AI automation. If we jump back to Salesforce, I want to show some of the behind the scenes. So we're still in the Bank of Frank app. If I click on the KYC verifications, you'll see that we have these two records right here. If I click on the first one, so this KYC verification record is created per document. So this is for the utility bill, and we see the status passed, has an expiration date, and then you'll see this field supporting document. If we click on that, so again, this bank document record just stores information about that file upload. In this case, it was Casey's utility bill. It shows that it was categorized by AI, but if we click on the pencil icon, you'll see that we actually have an option for human review. So you're probably wondering how the AI confidence score is determined. To show you that, I'm going to navigate to the app launcher and I'm going to click on Learning Loop. This is a custom learning loop that I built using Claude Code. I plan on going over this application more in depth in a future video, but for this Bank of Frank video, if I click on Observations, every document that's categorized by AI produces an observation record. So we click on this top one here. This is Casey's driver's license. So once the file is fed to an Agentforce prompt template, the output produces a ton of data. There's an observation record created using the prompt template's output, things like rationale and evidence. So this document is titled State of Georgia, driver's license. So that's part of the reason why it receives such a high confidence. You can see that the validation status is pending. Every observation is reviewed by a human. So jumping back to the portal, we also have this calculator tab. Again, this is the same calculator on the homepage. We also have this apply tab. This is where you would apply for a loan, personal, auto, home, or student. Let's apply for a personal loan. And we'll say for debt consolidation, I need $15,000 for 96 months. I filled out all the tell us about you information and I'll click continue. And then we have this final review and submit. So application has been received. If I go to my applications, it brings us to the my applications tab. And you'll see here at the top, the application that I just submitted. These aren't duplicates. If you click in, it'll show you the date it was submitted. So this was submitted on the 3rd. If we click on this was submitted yesterday. You can also see that there's different terms as well. Customers can upload documents here as well. They can also withdraw the application. I'm going to click yes. You can see that it now says withdrawn on the application. Customers can also review their cases. So I created a test case here. Again, there's not much test data here. And then if we click on the documents tab, so this page is essentially a customer's document center. This is where they can download statements for each of their accounts. It also shows the documents that the customer has shared, along with the status of verified and the data was verified. If I click on download for any of these, it produces an actual statement for this account, opening balance, deposits and credits, closing balance, and the transactions for that month. We have this support tab. Customers can use this contact form to open a case. I also have this FAQ search, but it's still a work in progress. And then lastly, there's this profile tab. Again, a very simple example. It gives their name, username, the household record, and the customer's email. So I know this entire demo was in the portal and in Salesforce, and you're probably wondering why I didn't show Claude Code. Well, really, it's because there's not much for me to show you. All of this was done with prompting, and I don't think anyone wants to watch prompting for hours on end. But to finish off this video, I do want to highlight that Claude Code built 11 features, more than 24 Apex classes, 16 LWCs, and 528 Apex tests. Again, I'm sure many developers could ask, well, how do you know any of that's accurate? And that's a fair question. The whole point of using Claude Code is to accelerate development. But in a real world scenario, all this work that was built would still need to be reviewed by developers and other technical stakeholders. So that's the Bank of Frank Part 2. Part 3 suggestions are welcome. Thank you all for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.